Well, hi everybody, it's Jeff again, and today we're looking at our walk-in closet here, and this is a newer project that we're working on here, almost at completion. And this walk-in closet here, we're going to be putting up the shelving, and the blue tape here, as you can see on the back wall, is our studs. So we went around and marked everything in here to show where all of our studs are. So you can get an idea for what this closet looks like here. So here you can see the dimensions of the closet. That back wall is 89 inches wide. The closet's 50 inches deep. There's got a 30-inch door, and it's 21 inches on one side and about 37 on the other side. So that's what we're dealing with, and this is fairly typical of what you might end up with in your closet as well. So I wanted to point out something that's kind of problematic here is, and we find this a lot when we try to use these automated tools online, like from ClosetMaid on their website, to try to design something to put in the closet here. Their tools aren't very good. And like for my closet here that we're working on, it told us that the minimum dimension here has to be 53 inches or they can't come up with anything. So they're shooting themselves in the foot, and in my opinion, ClosetMaid is missing out on a lot of sales. People probably walk away at that point when they can't get it working, or they simply put in less product than they normally would have, because it's obvious their programmers, whoever designed their software, can't seem to make it work and don't know how to make it work. It's just amazing. It couldn't have been designed by anybody that actually used the product. So what we ended up doing is just kind of do a bird's eye layout. And so this is what they have a hard time doing in the software, is knowing that I've got a rear wall here that I'm going to put a wire shelf here, and a left and a right wall here that will put another shelf right up against it. And they, for some reason, software has a problem with that. So I always end up designing it myself and just custom building and cutting it and everything. And you can see here what we're using here is a great ingenious system they have here called the Superslide. And this is a rod that you put the hanger on, and it goes all the way around like this. So you could put a piece of clothing on a hanger there and just move it all the way around the closet if you had to. There's no blocks, there's no stoppage or anything. That's the beauty of this system here. So that's sort of what we want it to look like from above. So let's take a look and see what it looks like here in our design. Okay, so you saw our other video that we put up a couple of years ago from another excellent design that worked out just awesome. This one here, we're going to give you a lot more detail in dimensions and showing you how we thought this through here. So you can see here, this is the, let me find the back wall here. So this is the rear wall here. And you remember how I said it's 89 inches across, right? So we're going to have two sections, a left section and a right section, that are 36 inches each, upper section and lower section. And the industry standard, the way we do this is you got 42 inches off the floor for the bottom section. Rod will be here. The shelf and rod will be here. And then you go another 42 inches up. So you're going to be 84 inches up by the time you get to that upper wire shelf there. Okay. And then what we did in the middle, you can see we left a 17-inch wide space in the middle here for the tall dresses and coats and stuff like that. And if we have room, we'll put a few rows of shoe racks at the bottom there. And I like everything to look symmetrical and even and logical. Okay, so now I want to direct our attention here to the left and the right walls. They're both going to be exactly the same. And you can see here, there's the 12-inch of wire shelf coming off the rear wall there. So remember, that's a 50-inch side wall. So that's going to leave us about 36 to 38 inches or so left over. And so we're going to put a 40-inch track up top and hang our standards on there. And I'm going to show you what all these look like, and we'll show you how to put it together. It's pretty simple. But this is the best way to do it. I don't want to see you using just regular wire shelves with those stupid stilts that come down and attach to the wall. Those are useless. Don't ever use that type of design. So the left and right walls are going to be 36 inches across of a wire shelf, top and bottom. Same as the rear wall, 42 inches and 42 inches. And this sort of shows, you know, the Superslide rod, how it curves around to the corners. And the beauty of that is you can have your clothes in the corner here, whereas in other closets you either have a dead space or they have keep outs. They don't put a shelf back there. It's just really dumb. This is the best way to utilize that space in the most efficient manner. And then lastly, let's see if we have the front wall. Let me just show you what the inside of the closet looks like facing the doorway wall. So this is what I showed you at the beginning of the video. You got 37 inches here, and the doorway's here, that's 30 inches, and then you got 21 inches over here. Problem is we're not going to be able to use anything on this wall because the shelf that's going to be here comes over here and it comes up to this point right here. I made that little pencil mark. And then by the time you put a hanger on the rod there, the clothes could stick out close to the door. So there's really nothing we can do here. We might try to put a few shelves, I don't know. But certainly up above, we're going to put a shelf all the way across, a wire shelf. There's plenty of room there. So a lot of people don't think to go behind you and over the door to put additional storage. So these people are going to love us for it. So here we are back at the drawing here of the door wall. And so you can see here's the door opening. And here's that 37-inch wall on the left side of the door there, inside. And so we'll have the same thing, upper section and lower section, 42 inches each. And that'll take us right to the edge of the door. And then on this side here, you can see this is where the wire shelf is going to be sticking out of that wall from this wall here. So again, like I mentioned earlier, it's only going to leave you about 9-10 inches here, and there's not a lot we can do. I sort of have some shelves scribbled in here in case we decide to do anything there, but we're most likely not going to be able to put anything there. And then of course the upper wire shelf will go all the way across over the door. Alright, so this is how ClosetMaid's ShelfTrack system works. This is called the ShelfTrack. And this track goes along the top of the wall. We usually mount this at about 84 inches up off the floor. You draw a ledger line around the closet and then you screw this to the studs. Everything gets screwed to the studs wherever you possibly can. And then these are standards. They call these standards. These are just downward vertical structures that plug on here like this. You go in and then down, and then this hangs down the wall. Very simple. And on a 36-inch section or so, I'll try to do 3 standards coming down. I don't want to have anything more than 20 inches of space in between standards because you want to be able to support the load on the wire shelves. And this is the shelf support bracket. The way this works is it goes in like this and slides down like that. Now this will all be hanging on the wall, of course, so then the shelf rests on that. So here's all the parts we've gone and gotten. These are all of the shelf brackets. This is the curved part of the Superslide rod that I told you about. This goes around the corners, so it allows you to continuously move the clothing on the hanger around a corner too. And then of course we have all of these. These are the clips, the holders for the Superslide rods. So these clip on to the front of these wire shelves here. See this? Like that. And then the big rods clip onto here. And then these are all of the standards that we've purchased. And the shelves. This is the shelf rack here that goes up on the top. And then of course huge amounts of wire shelving, and some of this we will have to cut ourselves. We can use an angle grinder or a Dremel. I prefer the angle grinder with a metal wheel on it. If you don't have an angle grinder, I highly suggest you get one because they are great tools for cutting just about anything, and they're usually about 30 bucks at the big box stores. And hey, while we're at it, there's the bathroom we just finished tiling here. We had a little niche in there that I put in with river rock, and then I built a nice border here, and then I had river rock going up the center here. So this was a nice tile job that we worked on for a couple of weeks. All right, so let's talk about the anchoring systems that we're using here. Let me just tell you, don't ever buy cheap anchors when you're going into drywall. Don't ever buy the plastic ones or anything like that. You only want to be going through with good solid metal type screws and things like that. So you can see how this one works. This is a really heavy duty one that I use all the time. And you drill a 1/2-inch hole, you stick the thing through. I'll show you in a minute how it fits through. But essentially when you're done, this is a big metal brace right here. And when you screw it in, it screws everything in nice and tight. And that's what holds to the back of the drywall. So these hold about, was it 265 pounds or something like that. And then to save money, because these are pretty expensive, I think for this 30 count here, I think it was something like 25 bucks for this box. These are less expensive in where it's not super critical to have the huge amount of weight load. I'll go with these too, and these are drywall toggles. These will handle 100 pounds. And the way these work are really cool too. So you put this in the wall and you start to put the screw into it. And as you screw it into it, it flips this little brace out 90 degrees so that when it's done, it looks essentially almost exactly like this. So it's the same type of mechanism. It's just that this only holds 100 pounds and they're a lot cheaper. So these I'll use for the standards if I can't get a standard to go into a stud. So as we look up here at the track, we can see this is the 80-inch track going across the 89-inch wall. So we'll have about 5 inches or so on either end of the track, which is fine. And the problem is you know, you're never going to be able to get a screw hole to go through every stud based on the holes that they've pre-drilled for you. So there's one there that'll go through. There's nothing there, so on here we're going to pre-drill our own because anytime I can put a screw through a stud, I'll do it. And there's the third one there. You see he'll go right through the stud perfectly. And the other ones, we really don't need to, but I think what I might do on these here is we'll drill some holes here and put in our anchors. You know, those anchors that I just showed you earlier, we'll put a few of those in as well, just to make sure we're able to carry the maximum amount of weight possible. Okay, so now we've marked all of our holes. So you can see that's my ledger line there at 84 inches, and I've marked all the holes that are in this shelf that go across. So we're going to drill those holes and put in our screws. Now as you back up and look here, the only ones that we're going to be able to put a screw through a stud will be this one here, and this one here. The other ones won't reach to the wall because we're going to be 5 inches away. So all of these other ones where you see the round marks that are not over a stud, we're going to be doing with one of these guys here. So we'll drill a 1/2-inch hole in each one of these spots, and we'll feed this guy in like this. Oof. As soon as we feed it in, we bring these guys like that, and you push forward on that, kind of like a zip tie, and it pulls that vertical part there to the back side of the drywall. Okay. So here it is going in. I'm putting in one of these giant anchors here, and it goes in straight like that. You push it in a little bit there, and then you kind of pull it back so that you can, remember these are nice and parallel here, so now the bracket is against the back of the wall here, And once it is, then you're just going to push forward on this. You got to do it with two hands. Push forward on it until it clicks into place. So there you can see I've already done that. And then what you do is you just go sideways here and you break it off like that. Throw that piece away. And then you're left here with a little screw boss that you're going to put your little bolt in later. This is a 1/4 inch, 1/4 1/20, and it'll eventually screw in here through the bracket once we hang the long shelf up. And you can see I've got another one up. So I just have a few more to do, and then we'll hang the shelf bracket. So these are the screws that I'm going to use, the 3 screws that are going to go through the drywall into the metal studs. This is a very specific screw that I use, and I'll show you what this is here. So it says on here that this is a fine thread, and that's what you want to use when you're going through a metal stud, not a coarse thread wood screw. You do not want to use a wood screw if you know you're going through a metal stud. And this is a self drill point, and what's good about these is if you look real closely, maybe I'll put it up against the white background there. See the very tip of the screw has like a little bit of a drill bit sort of built into it. And this is because it's really hard to just run a screw through the metal studs, especially if they're flexible and they want to bend and move out of the way. So you need something with a high-speed drill to just kind of drill right through with that torque. And you can see how it's got a fine thread because it's going through the middle there. So we're going to use these 3 here. So now our first shelf bracket there is finally installed. Now we're going to work on the left and right side walls here and the inside of the door walls. Okay, so here's the long side, the back wall there. That bracket is now done, that shelf rack there. Now we've gone ahead and we've started the right side wall here. We're doing the 36-inch section here. And the reason why we put it all the way up against this wall back here was because you don't need anything there because you're going to have 12 inches of wire shelving coming out of there and going along the top. So we're just going to do the other 2 walls and we'll be done with that part. And here you can see here, if you're concerned about the black screws not matching the silver screws, you can always go and buy another set of screws. We just like to use these because these self-tap into those studs there. So anyway, this is rock solid now. We've utilized all 5 holes there on that. Also wanted to remind you too to remember that on these things here, the wide part up here goes up top, the skinny part goes down here at the bottom. Happens to the best of us, we actually started out putting it upside down and had to change it. One thing I wanted to point out to you is as you're screwing all of these in here on the track, you want to make sure you keep them all loose and keep the track out far enough until you can get all of the screws in aligned, because the alignment's kind of tight on these. So just make sure you get all of those in before you push it in, and then you can start screwing them all in. Okay, pretty simple that way. Okay, so here's how we're sort of practice fitting the standards. They fit in like that, they go up and then back, and you can see they're sort of held in place by the lip of the top of the bracket there. So you just let it dangle down the wall, and as we back up and look here, you can see I've already laid a few other ones. So I've got 3 on the left side, and I've got 3 on the right hand side. So that's 36 inches over there. There's 36 inches over here. And this middle section here with these 2 white standards, you can see they're longer than the other 2, because this is going to be the section where the long, tall dresses hang. And then below that, we'll hang on some extensions to go down towards the floor, and we'll put a few racks for shoes. So looking back on the right-hand side here, you can see these don't need to go all the way down because these standards are only here to hold a shelf that's going to be at 42 inches above the floor. So you don't need anything going below that. And also you can see what we try to do is I always try to get at least one of my standards to land over a stud. So I was able to in this spot here. This spot here we won't be able to. So we'll be using my little metal anchors, the easy drywall anchors there. And these here, same thing. He's not going to go through a stud, so we'll have to put the anchors here too. Now ClosetMaid only needs you to, according to their directions, they only want you to do one screw through like the middle of the strut. Well, I view that as minimum code, and I always like to go above minimum code. So we're going to put probably a screw here, a screw here, a screw there, and maybe one more closer to the top there. I always like to go above and beyond what they ask for, because I never liked minimum code. And so same with this side here, I was able to get one of the standards to hang on that stud there. These two studs here, this one and the one on the far left, are both going to require anchors because we can't get those to go into a stud. And the reason why we have these spread out like this is my rule of thumb is for every 36 inches I like to have 3 of these standards to give good balance. I don't want to have more than 24 inches of space between a balance, so that between these standards here, so that it'll balance properly and it won't bend the shelves and all that. And on the end here you can see I try to get this standard as close to the end as possible because I'm already about 4 inches from the wall, and you don't want your wire shelf to overhang more than 4 or 5 inches past the standard, past the little brackets when they stick out to support them. So let's put a couple of those on there now and see if we can't get a shelf going across the top. Alright, so we have the metal anchors here, the drywall anchors. There's one there, second one there, third one there. And I'm just going to slide my standard over them right where the hole is there. And so what we'll do here is we just kind of run our spears through there. I wanted to come over here to the side of it to show you what's going to happen. As you screw it in, it'll attach to the bracket behind the drywall, and it'll suck the bracket against the drywall, which will tighten this down. You'll feel it tug right there. It got really tight there, so watch this. Nice and tight. Doesn't even move. We'll do the other two like that. Alright, so we've got them all screwed down, and I've started to add some of these shelf brackets here. And the way these fit in, let me show you, it's kind of tricky, but you just finagle a little bit. You stick it up in there and try to let it, or in the wrong spot, go right here. Let it come down and just let the bottom part kind of rest in there, like that. There you go, just like that. And so now all we have to do is take one of our wire shelves and we'll clip it to the top. Let's see how it looks. And about a minute and a half later, there you have it. There's your upper shelf there. So we've done what the software has told us that we cannot do, and you'll see that come to fruition. So now all we have to do is come down to the 42-inch layer here and add 3 more brackets over here and 3 more brackets over here. That will create our lower level for the lower shelf. And a few seconds later, you can see our skeleton is finally taking shape as we have the shelf brackets for the bottom section now. And you can sort of see how it's all going to work out, because there's your tall middle section there for the dresses. There's going to be your upper left section and your upper right section. That will be your lower right section, and that will be your lower left section over here. Okay, so now for the two standards that are going to be screwed directly into the studs. We can't put anchors on those, so we're going to use these screws. We're going to go directly into the stud with them. And what I like about these are actually cabinet screws. And if you look closely on the top, you can see they have a T15 star bit, which is a much more reliable drive than Phillips head or flathead. These pretty much never slip. And so I use this T15 Torx bit here. I really like these. See how it's got that star pattern there? So these do a really good job, and these screws also are somewhat self-tapping. They have what they call an engineered zip tip. So it's meant to just zip right into whatever material you're going through. And this also has a finer grade. Even though this is made for wood, this does have a finer grain, which I like to use with cabinets anyway, because the finer grain pulls the cabinets tighter to each other when you're screwing them in. But let's go ahead and put this in on those standards. And here's the screw here, finally installed. What I like about these is these actually match better because they have white heads. They look better than these other screws over here that are silver. So we have one here and another one up here. So I've surpassed the ClosetMaid requirements where they say that only one screw needs to be put in on a standard. So these are in super tight. These aren't going anywhere. So here as we get ready to start the right hand side with the standards, and here you can see I've got a standard right over a stud. I always want to remind you it's important to make sure that you're completely level. So I like to use my little torpedo level here, and it's magnetic, so it just attaches right to the stud. So I know exactly where I need to have it so that I know that I'm perfectly level. Straight, plumb and true is how you want it to be. You want these to be perfectly vertical so that when you attach these brackets, they'll be vertical, because if they're off, then your shelf is going to be off. So you want to make sure this is perfectly vertical here, and then you can drill your little pilot holes through there, right through those screws. Then you'll know exactly you'll be lined up. Well, we can see it's finally starting to take shape here, becoming recognizable as a closet. Here's that back wall, and we've made some progress here on the right side wall. Now you're probably wondering, well, why do I have these two standards so close together? Well, as it turns out, this is where there's studs. There's a stud here, and then one over in the corner. And anytime I can land my standards in the middle of a stud, you know, I'm going to be all over that. So that's why they look like that. And it's just a few more inches past the bracket than you would like to have with your shelf, but that's okay, because we're going to get these special brackets that ClosetMaid makes that will tie this wire shelf to the one that we're going to put up here when it's all said and done. And then on this wall here that faces the door, this is 36 inches of wall, but as you can see, the wire shelf is going to come out 12 inches, so we're really only going to be using maybe 24 inches from here to there. So you're probably wondering, well, why did we make the track go all the way back into the corner? That's to allow for the owner to have some type of expandability later on in the future, or give them other options if they want to change things around without having to uproot the entire system. And so just a couple of minutes later now, we've added our wire shelves up top there. So you can see how the way we've designed it, which is not the way the ClosetMaid software would have designed it, is we used every possible square inch all the way back into the corner, and then this shelf here comes right up against it. So next we're going to insert our super slides, which are going to run here and curve right here and then come over here and end. And we have to, of course, cap off all of these little rough ends here from our cuts. Okay, so we're now ready to do the super slides, and I just want to show you how these hooks go in. They go in like that, and then you just click it down, it clicks into place. And I've got another one right here placed. This is going to be the corner piece, goes here. And then I made this rod here, I just custom cut it to fit from here over to up against the wall. And you can see I've put a cap on it already. I've capped it off using these super slide caps here. Man, these things are expensive. That's like $4 for that package of 2 right there. So you take the rod and you connect it up to the curved piece, and then we're just going to hang them right here on these hooks. So here we've gone ahead and completed inserting the rod there. Now you can see what it's going to do. Our plan is to have it start here, curve around, and go straight to the wall. But what we're looking at is, do we want to try to make a curve back around here and put another wire shelf here? So in other words, what we're proposing is, should we put it here? Should we do this and put a wire shelf here and let it curve back around here? The only thing is, it'll really make this closet clamped, but it will give them absolute maximum space. So we'll kind of play with it, and we'll look at both ways and see which way we want to go. Okay, we just wanted to take a step back here now and check out where we are so far. We're almost nearing completion here, and you can see we've built a pretty nice elaborate setup here to really take advantage of every inch of space in this closet. So here's the left side corner here with the shelf, and you can see we have the nice the rod here that slides around the corner here, the super slide. And then if you look here, what we've done is, this is the middle section here in the back wall where we've put the area for the tall dresses and coats and stuff like that to come all the way down. And then we have a small shoe rack here just to cover that area, to maximize, you know, using that area. And then we have a shoe rack that we put along the whole bottom here, across the bottom there. And then as we look on the right hand side, we have pretty much the mirror image of what's on the left, where you have pretty much a U-shaped set of the wire shelves here with the super slide going around the corner. And as you heard us mention previously, the reason why we like the super slide so much is because of what you can do with the hangers. You know, you can just move the clothes all the way around like that. There's no stops really in between. And then if you kind of look back here to what we did on the area facing the door here, what we have here is we have just the one shelf here on the lower and one on the upper too. And originally our plan was to see if we could put some shelves here, right, going all the way across. But here's a problem you run into sometimes when you're cramped, and that is, look at what this hanger does. See how the hanger comes all the way over here like this? And you wouldn't be able to utilize this space back here to put, you know, your clothes, because you'd be hitting a wire shelf here. So what we did was we added this third standard right here. And our plan is then to move these guys over to here. And this one here will also move over to here. So what we'll do in this section here, we'll have the full, you know, full size shelf here, and then 14 inches here, 14 inches here, and then back up to the full size shelf up top. And you can see what we did up top was we ran the shelf all the way across past the door and all the way back over here to the other side where it all ties in here. So we made the maximum amount of usage of space in this closet. And then keep in mind, this is something that the ClosetMaid site said there's no way we could do. So it's always boiling down to us having to design it ourselves and make a lot of custom cuts and everything. All right. So a couple of things I wanted to point out to you to keep in mind as you're doing these. When you're doing these super slide rods here, I always try to make a cut happen right over one of the clips here. And you'll still see it a little bit from the top here. But when you're looking up from these here, you'll never know that there's a connection right there behind this one. And likewise, as we come across over here, there's another connection right behind here. So you just find clever ways to hide the connections. And don't forget to put all your caps on here like this here. And wherever you see the ends of the rods here, the ends of your wire shelf, you always want to put these caps. Okay, even if it's way back or hidden or tucked underneath, even if it's back in a corner like these are, way back in the corner, you always want to make sure you put these on, because if somebody puts a really expensive sweater on the shelf and then lifts it up and it gets snagged on one of these, boy, it's going to be a calamity there. So we spend a lot of time and a lot of money buying up all these little white rubber ends here, these tips to put on the ends of all of these wires. So there's no stone left unturned here. Everywhere you go, you'll see we have those on there. Nobody's going to get snagged anywhere on this. I want to show you a little close-up here of these shoe racks on how they work. They have a separate little bracket here that's made just for the shoe racks, and these kind of clip onto the wires here on the shelf. And you'll see they kind of stick out and hold it down at an angle for you, so your shoes will be kind of like this. The only thing is there's still a little bit of bowing in it. The reason why there really isn't much movement on the bottom shelf here is because it's resting on top of the baseboard there, you can see. So that actually worked out nicely for us there. So these are the brackets you use when you're doing the shoe racks. So here's the view looking up at our setup here from below and how we did. So we took this 7.5 by 4 foot deep walk-in closet and pretty much almost turned it into a reach-in, because by the time you put clothes in here, there won't be much room left to do anything else. So this is something I wanted to get all of your feedback from about this. I want you to take a look at this here, and we'll put the shelves here in a second here to show you. Should we leave this area open in this space here, or should we put the shelves here? Now my vote is always to put the shelves here, because when you have a small condo like this, space is always at a premium. You can't have enough storage space. And so by putting these other two shelves up here, we'll gain ourselves another 2 feet of storage, and that's a lot in a condo. So take a look at this and tell me if you like it better like this. So here it is blank. Tell me if you like it better like this, with just the upper shelf there and the lower shelf down here. Do you like it better like that? Or do you like it better with the wire shelves in place, like this? So do you like this one? This is where I added the extra 2 shelves there. And let me try to get you here a better angle to show you what we did with it. See, because here we are against the door here, right? So if you look how it comes up and lines up with the hanger here, so the hanger with the clothes on it will just barely pass by to the left of it. So that gives you room to do these 2 shelves here at a skinnier rate than the bottom and the top shelf here. Just kind of show you a little side view of it. So let us know in the comments below which one you think looks the best, and we'll take that into advisement for our future projects. And I also wanted to remind you too, I know we mentioned it before, but it's so crucial to make sure that all your standards are perfectly level. See how that's just smack dab in the middle there? So you always want to make sure everything is level, square, plumb, true. Otherwise your wire shelves won't line up. And sometimes we're experimenting with these new brackets that they have. I'm not really sure about them yet, but these supposedly will help 2 wire shelves that are at a 90-degree angle to stay connected and stay put. So we'll see how these last. So all totaled here, you're looking at about $800 in parts, and it really doesn't look like it. You go, man, how can that add up? But you know, every one of these shelves adds up. Some of these shelves are 10 bucks, 12 bucks. Every one of these stupid little caps here, there's 2 of them in a box, that's like 3 bucks. And all of these metal standards add up. They're all 15, 20 bucks a piece, some are less. And just everything just adds up. And if you can see what we did here in here, much more than the average closet. So yeah, it's just incredible. So you're looking at $800 in parts. And this probably took about, I would say about 2 full working days to get it all done. I had to do this one by myself. I didn't have my assistant with me, out sick. So if you had 2 able-bodied people that really know how to do this working on it, they could probably get it done in one day. Because it's always beneficial to have one person making all the cuts for you. And yeah, so if you think you're going to make this happen in an afternoon, there's just no way. If you've never done this before, you would probably never even make one of these happen, one wall happen in an afternoon. Because it'll take you at least an hour just to mark down all of these studs where they are all the way around the room. Alright, so we'll take one last final look around here at the finished product. And it came out pretty good. We're very happy with the results here and the way these shelves all worked out here. And the fact that we were even able to get these other wire shelves up here. We put in a new globe light up there with the LED chips in it, so there's no light bulbs to ever have to replace. So we completely redid this closet. We took this 7-foot by 4-foot space here and really made maximum utilization here out of it. And we'll just take a little look around here. And oh yeah, let me show you. This is the bathroom here. I completely remodeled this bathroom here from the floor up when I took over this foreclosure unit several weeks ago. This was all bare concrete walls, and the place was totally gutted from previous flood damage and mold. And I managed to pull off a miracle in here, and we had completely torn out this entire bathroom here. And I built this wall up here and put this niche in with the river rock and nice mosaic tiles here and travertine windowsill. Completely redid everything in here. The river rock going up the tub here, from the tub all the way up to the top. And we even reglazed the tub as well. So you should have seen how horrific this bathroom looked before. This whole master suite is looking just phenomenal now. So this is how you put your engineering mind on there and you come up with the best solution you can possibly come up with for a closet when you're in a tight space like this. So we hope that this video taught you quite a bit here. I know it's long, but there's a lot of engineering knowledge that you need to have here in order to pull off something like this and bring home the gold for your closet. So if you liked our video and you're happy with the education you got here, please give us a thumbs up there on the video and leave good comments for us. And you can subscribe to our channel. We're always making videos showing you how to overcome the toughest engineering obstacles in your remodeling. And don't forget to check out, we have another video that we did on another closet that was a little smaller than this, where we showed how to do the whole wire system here with the track shelves and the standards. And that one was a nickel colored one, so you'll like that one. And I'll have a link to that here at the end of this video. So thanks for stopping by, have a great day, and tune into our other videos. We'll see you on the next one.